And here is the Writer's Almanac for Saturday, May the 18th, 2019. It's the birthday of Omar Khayyam, born in Nishapur in Iran in the year 1048. He was a scientist and a mathematician, wrote a treatise on algebra, still considered one of the great mathematical works of the Middle Ages. But today we know him for his Rubaiyat. Rubaiyat, which means simply quatrains, 4-line stanzas with a rhyming pattern. The manuscript of Khayyam's quatrains, written in Persian, was discovered by E.B. Cowell at Oxford University, 1859. He stumbled on the manuscript at the Bodleian Library at Oxford, passed it on to one of his students, Edward Fitzgerald, who translated 75 of the quatrains, thought some of them were too sensual or too irreverent, so those he left in Persian. And the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam became very famous in the 19th century with the lines, "A book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and thou." It's the birthday of Tina Fey, the comedy writer, actress, born Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, 1970. High school honors student, member of the drama club, went off to the University of Virginia, studied playwriting, acting, moved to Chicago after graduation, took night classes at Second City, began performing with them, traveled around the country doing 8 shows a week for 2 years, and 3 years later, she was hired as a sketch writer for Saturday Night Live and quickly rose to head writer. When she started appearing on Saturday Night Live, she wanted to wear contact lenses on camera, but somebody told her how great her glasses looked, and so she wore them instead, and they became part of her signature look. It was on this day, 1804, the French Senate proclaimed Napoleon Bonaparte Emperor of France. Beethoven was an admirer of Napoleon until this day in 1804 when he was crowned emperor. And then Beethoven said he'll become a greater tyrant than anyone. And he refused to write the symphony that the French ambassador to Austria had asked Beethoven to write, a symphony that instead became the Symphony No. 3, the Eroica. Here's a poem by Billy Collins, Only Child. I never wished for a sibling, boy or girl. Center of the universe, I had the back of my parents' car all to myself. I could look out one window, then slide over to the other window without any quibbling over territorial rights. And whenever I played a game on the floor of my bedroom, it was always my turn. Not until my parents entered their 90s did I long for a sister, a nurse I named Mary, who worked in a hospital 5 minutes away from their house and who would drop everything, even a thermometer, whenever I called. Be there in a jiff. And on my way were 2 of her favorite expressions, and mine. And now that the parents are dead, I wish I could meet Mary for coffee every now and then at that Italian place with the blue awning where we would sit and reminisce even on rainy days. I would gaze into her green eyes and see my parents, my mother looking out of Mary's right eye and my father staring out of her left, which would remind me of what an odd duck I was as a child, a little prince and a loner who would break off from his gang of friends on a Saturday and find a hedge to hide behind. And I would tell Mary about all that, too, and never embarrass her by asking about her non-existence. And maybe we would have another espresso and a pastry, and I would always pay the bill and walk her home. Only Child, a poem by Billy Collins from The Rain in Portugal, published by Random House and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.